Hello, slavery was victim predator, pseudo-sophistication nature agencies, forced here, entrenched here. And it was a method, a crime method through this, a breaching method. And it's recorded still, it's still, that it's a method that is recorded still active to another, not just as slavery, is a long-term breaching method that slavery was engineered to stay dissolved functional to. Their internation families are cultivating or propagating her live progression cover-up base with overt gangland drugs, with pharmaceutical ones, tied to areas' campuses and tied to areas' natures of courts, cultivated from a base propagated as a live progression, standing live progression cover-up nature, fact mistreatment nature, delusion propagation nature, hurt conviction nature, our courts, our legal natures, predatory litigation natures voices. So they're recorded with inter-campus crimes, with inter-group crimes, and with inter-fact treatment nature crimes, ill-fact treatment nature quality, and evidence fabrication rules. And there's no place to report it because the agencies were recorded and involved as a criminal nature with them and with internation families, playing business and playing how everything is done through breach statutes for this. In other words, you can't justify the logic of our leaders without them hiding lies, delusions from premises. Criminal internation persuasions, every one of them. And so they play tight politics, needing fights, needing debate before science, needing opinion before science, not allowing science to demonstrate exceptions, which nature, as science, has for a reason. So, lost way returns, not let. So, Trinity College, CCSU, UConn, also recorded fully, and also confessed, and also further demonstrably recorded involved with areas crimes and with medical corruption tied to the opioid crisis, with drug cliques with the courts, standing evidence fabrication natures, predators with courts, various natures of courts at once, how socially combined. And not with the, they have the right to commit crimes, to be undercover or whatever like that, but not to be evidence rackets nature roles, not to be child abuse roles, not to be attaching strangers to fake conversations. Excuse me. So we have the opioid crisis tied to this too, recorded, tied to the alternatives to recorded ill precedents with punishment statutes, conviction statutes, with ill conviction natures, dishonest live progression cover-up natures, and the opioid crisis is tied to that, which cultivated them to positions since they were little kids, criminally influenced, database, crime natures, the ones with the schools now attached to the adults with the courts who were victim predators when they were kids growing up, evidence fabrication natures, posers. So now they can't. Now they pretend they know people. They had conversations. They had fact treatments in the past, progressed, and then they stood upon in other cases that they know were not real. So they're refusing response. They're refusing to give to give a response. In other words, to allow peaceful counters to sick natures with our kids, and with our own names, and with our own potentials, and with our own. There's extortion. Note the person just reported shot in the face right when they come out of the door in the Britain the other day. In the CCSU, if I heard that right. Because that's also tied to the gun crimes. In other words, they use terror and they manipulate passions and reaction natures in relationship to the housings next to the colleges. in conjunction with and as the rackets covering up lie progressions for once with the other ages of campuses. So, Trinity College and CCSU and UConn were recorded and confessed criminally influenced by Wethersfield, Connecticut interbranch corruption, involving as the same nature that George Washington, that the French general had to counter-extort in Wethersfield right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War, having to leave slavery entrenched in Connecticut because they didn't even have the means but to stay counter-extorted, having to hide their roles with the Constitutional Convention, having to play criminal and insidious theater and tactic roles, fact treatment roles, for a breaching method. Otherwise, they would have been seen, because that's how they had everyone standing, cultivated as a standing criminal insidiousness nature, consciously. So it wasn't prejudice that made slavery. It was a crime method against each body, no matter what, if they're no matter what nationality are, they're a victim predator. Or what only let victim predator formal internation peace agreements to a shared markets positions ill that takes justifications of it that can't be defended that and trained pretended integrity to our nation, each one that was never there. We don't have one nation with a real identity. They're all fake identities too, and as this, and they can't defend their logic like that without trick fact treatments off offensive first. This is tied to how and why we have media, all sciences, with time, like real short time slots to discuss important issues, repeated the same way. In other words, they the same time slot, but they never expand upon, always making the same lies, delusions, needing to hide premises, needing to hide criminal persuasions, not letting that demonstrated, using having racket nature employed, in other words, and involved, will cover up needs with them with areas against strangers who try to pour it up. And they come online and they make opinions about people they don't even know, pretending to know them. And this is with media hiding from their recorded, made-up stories in conjunction with and as areas child predators with the campuses and with the courts and with doctors. Doctors' families are also recorded with my town involved with untimely deaths, with opioid crimes, and with the courts. That's the problem with the opioid crisis. The military families too. Recording standing lie progression, cover-up natures, evidence fabrication natures, posers per sick, like a Dylan guy. Poser with his Marines, not just Marines, Navy, different cliques with little evidence fabrication nature posers. Tough with a gun, tough with 50 badges behind them with evidence fabrication natures. Could not put in writing with anything because they grew up with database crimes. They grew up posing, directed to it, not to establish undercover, to establish two lie progression cover-up natures. This is with our area's businesses too with the same ill policing, same ill internation, mentally ill, mental health families. And that is with other natures of healthcare, juxtaposed with recorded, no legal representation. So forget about it. They come online with like how much they want, 40. In other words, treatments of how much prices are with drugs and things like this. These are all recorded, tied to evidence rackets. Just report on that. Take that down. Forgiveness is for them, not for us. We don't need it. The branches need it. We need it because we need it physically, real. Because in real life and quality metaphysics, physics is the same time value. They're predators. We have no legal representation. And like, for example, to call patriotism something that's only gleaned in contrast the nation's also hurt by the same thing that no sides have integrity to counter. It's not right. So the opioid crisis was with a fact treatment organized crime that was and is originally an unstayed and stayed on progressed uncharged, but is recorded. So let's go. Let's have a response. See Renaissance.